Now, the body can retaliate sometimes and say, I don't want to do that thing that my mind is telling me. And I'm going to let you know about it. I'm Heather Grzych, and this is the Wisdom of the Body podcast. This podcast explores the idea of body intelligence as the real key to learning the knowledge of life, or what we call Ayurveda in the ancient language of Sanskrit. We do that by connecting with today's creative leaders and experts who will help you listen to your body, trust your gut, and live in deeper harmony with nature. Come join me as we unlock the golden door to clear, direct perception and become very deep listeners. You can find the Wisdom of the Body podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also follow us by joining my email at heathergrzych.com or on Instagram at heathergrzych. I know you're going to love this podcast, so take a second right now to subscribe. I wanted to lead today a meditation on this mechanism within us, and you'll see it in other things in life, of having a top-down mechanism in our way of being and also a bottom-up way of being, so that we have both a top-down. So we'll talk about that. And so the top-down, if you do affirmations or if you all of the things that are considered conscious of the conscious mind, conscious decisions, plans, or, organizing a structure in your life, writing down a list of things you want or that you're going to try to do, the checklist that sits on your desk that you check off as you go throughout the day, those conscious things, that is the top-down executive functioning of your body, right? Just like in a company, right? So you have a boss, and your boss says, this is what you have to do. And then you have the part of you that you have a bunch of worker bees in your body. The worker bees in your body are most of you, most of your body, most of your mind, say 95% of you or more, is that all the processes that are subconscious of your body, that are the ones doing all the jobs, getting everything done, making you breathe, making you pee, digesting your food, giving you a period, letting your eyes blink, giving you tears, giving you mucus in your nose when it notices it's dry outside, lubricating your vagina when it's attracted to someone, making your armpits sweat when you get hot, making you hungry, moving your poop through, like everything the animal body does. But then we've got this mind, and it thinks it can tell the body, do this. Right? Because it can do that on the checklist. It can do the things in the world, right? It can do the checklist of the things in the world, and it can make a decision to, I'm going to be on my yoga mat at 9 a.m. in the morning, right? Like, Heather, be on the yoga at 9 a.m. in the morning. Create the structure, all conscious. And if you keep telling the body, the 95%, the subconscious, the soma, if you keep telling that over and over and over again, i.e. affirmation style, to do that, probably get some changes that'll happen. Get some changes that'll happen as long as you keep doing that affirmation. Now, if you stop the affirmation, what happens to those changes? Do those changes stick, or do those changes unwind because the affirmation is gone? The power, right? Like, did it really become a spell? So what really makes something become a spell? Did it just change in our mind and in our action? Or did some other environmental shift happen around us that then came to reinforce the new way of being? Some other way of shifting in the environment that responded to the interchange that we went to and created reinforcements so that there's no more trying anymore, that there is just being. So that even if the affirmation goes away, the spell doesn't lose its power because it's already rippled out. It's already affected the environment. It has already made a shift that has changed the relations of energy and matter and space and time around us. It's already changed it. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to jinx it if this affirmation, if I don't do this or I don't do this prayer or something like that. But sometimes we've done them so powerfully that they do change the physical space around us. And then everything becomes easier once that happens. Because in the beginning, it feels like we're forcing. It always feels like we're forcing. And it's frustrating. And we're like, why isn't the world changing? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't... And there's a whole bunch of things that we can go through that are, not getting the goal met, all that kind of stuff. But then part of when we have a real somatic change, when there's a somatic change, there is also an environmental change, because that is our essence, right? That is our energy. That's where the atoms, the molecules, everything that is developing a relationship with the environment around us all lives in the soma. It does not live in the conscious mind, even though we think it does, because that's the only part of us that we can really have any immediate control over. So in order to change the relational environment, it has to go deep into the soma, the reprogramming, in order to have longevity. So that's why now the body can retaliate sometimes and say, I don't want to do that thing that my mind is telling me. And I'm going to let you know about it. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to give you diarrhea. I'm going to make you want to puke. I'm going to mess up your period. I'm going to make this part of you uncomfortable. The body it has no choice but to retaliate. It has no choice. So it's always a toggling between the bottom-up processes and the top-down processes, that then the top-down processes have to observe, oh, this happened to all my little friends in there, my cells, my atoms, everything. And then the top-down process has to make, okay, maybe a slightly different conscious decision or a pause in something or an adjustment. And then it can come back and say, okay, well, how about this? Let me give you some time. How about this? Right? And just keep going back and forth. The top down keeps its intentions. It keeps its desires. It sees where it wants to go. But at the same time, it's listening to this bottom up thing and making adjustments along the way as it goes. And it's always doing that. And that, to me, is the best way to make change. There's a lot of ways to make change where you could go and do ayahuasca, and you will have somatic changes, but you may not have had the matching conscious changes that go along with that. And that's a different problem. So, but if you can use the conscious mind to change the somatic body and then listen back for the feedback and then just keep adjusting it, that's the most sustainable way. And once the somatic body is changed, then everything in the environment reassembles to reinforce. It just happens naturally, because you can't control the environment. You can only control you. And once you change you, then the environment also responds to that. I mean, it's just insane. Like you just said earlier, you said, I take something off my schedule, something fills it. Isn't that magical how that happens? So change is long-term. It is any change that's going to stick is going to take a while. Any change that's going to stick is going to take a while, which is, in Ayurveda, we were always taught, if you have a client who adopts a change really quickly, they're probably also going to be the person who drops that quickly as well. And so that's why if I see someone who's difficult to change, I know that I've got to work on them a little harder and they're going to resist it more. But once they change, it's going to stick so much more than this person who changed fast, because they're less changeable in nature. If you can change what is less changeable in nature, that will stick more. That will have the longevity. Because there are some aspects of us, or, Vata specifically, Vata, people who have very high Vata are very changeable. That's why there are certain people who are more susceptible to certain conspiracy theories and ideas and beliefs and things like that. And that changed them a lot. And they start to believe every new thing they hear. So the more permeable we are, the more changeable we are, the more resistant we are, the harder we are to change. But when we change, it's very, very powerful. So that's why I think any change requires persistence. So if you're very, very changeable, you have to look out for then changing from the thing that you were trying to change into, because you're just going to keep changing all the time. And then if you're very resistant, you're not going to see anything happen for a while. It's going to take a long time to manifest something. So the top down works, but also the bottom up works. And so the listening practices of whatever form that comes in for you, whether that's meditation, whether that's journaling, whether that's walking out in the woods, the way that your body speaks to you. What is that way that your body speaks to you? Your body can speak to you after you've heard it. It becomes very loud and very clear. Sometimes your body's speaking to you at other times. So what are the ways that you listen to your body? What are the conditions that have to be there in order for you to listen to your body? Whether that's space in the schedule, or that's being alone, or whether that's, I don't know, some people may be sitting on a plane and they can listen to their body better, but you have to figure out where are those places for you that you notice your body. What are those states that you're in? What are you doing? How do you orient yourself? And so one of the ways I like to encourage that is even just when you're sitting, whether you're in meditation or whether you're in a meeting, if you can bring your awareness from the front of your body, which is more action oriented, and take it all the way into the back of your body, the back of your head, the back of your spine, between the shoulder blades, the whole back body, the back of the arms, the back of the legs, the back of the feet. So shift it from the action oriented parts of you to the listening parts of you, that you hang back and hold the energy toward the back of the body. Hold the energy toward the back of the body, because as long as we're in this quick action mode, these little spaces of opportunity to listen get drowned out by all the action. So very simple, just sitting in the back body, feeling the back body, bringing the awareness to the back body. So that's your spine, that's the back of your neck, that's your head, that's letting your eyes drop back into the sockets, letting the inner ear drop into the ear canal, into the eustachian tube, letting the front of the chest rest into the back of the chest, front of the belly rest into your lower back. So letting everything rest into your back body. Just feeling your back body. And just feeling your back body. Meditating on the whole back body. Meditating on the whole back body. Holding the attention on the back body. Just holding it there. Holding it there. Back body. Back body. Back body. Back body. If you are embarking on a fertility journey and are ready to have your mind blown about what your body is really capable of and how it's impacted by the environment, then check out my book, The Ayurvedic Guide to Fertility. You can actually download the introduction to the book for free on my website at heathergrzych.com. That's Heather, Grzych.com. Read the intro for free and then buy the rest of this fertility enlightening book pretty much anywhere books are sold. I want to thank you for listening to this show. It brings me great pleasure to provide this content to you. I also want to let you know that I'll be making some very amazing announcements soon. And if you're not already on my email list, then I encourage you to go over to my website and subscribe to my email list so that I can keep you informed about these announcements that are going to be coming up very soon. So my website is heathergrzych.com. That's Heather, Grzych.com. And I look forward to getting these important announcements to you very soon and connecting. Thank you for tuning in and dropping in with us today. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. I really want to hear your feedback. To learn more about my work, visit heathergrzych.com. That's Heather, Grzych.com. And meet me here next time on The Wisdom of the Body.